right? So we can start from here. So we're going to start from the account dashboard, right? So for those who have just joined, once you created the account, you have access to all the tools within your account profile. To connect your Discord, we get a lot of questions about that. If you have not connected your Discord yet, you can click here under your profile and then simply click right here. You would need to log into your Discord on one of the other tab and just click on connect, and that will give you the premium access, and you'll be able to access the bot and access all the tools. So that's very, very simple. It's being released yesterday. We have a really nice update here, very much easier to connect your Discord account. Second step, for those who are new, we have resources available to you. So first, look at the guides. We have written documentation on basically every product that we have and every model, and also how to get started. So for example, if you want to set up your dashboard, we have a product demo right here that can give you an idea. We had videos, so you can access all those videos right here. If you want to learn the models and the data, we also have some documentation right here. And if you, let's say you want to learn about gamma models that you're going to plot on your chart, we also have documentation available for every gamma model and every model that we have. So maybe you see a chart on Twitter about swing trading. There's going to be a documentation here. And then if you scroll down, we have a knowledge base. So if you want to learn more about options, and if you're a futures trader, but you do want to learn about option, positive gamma, negative gamma, those are terms that you will hear a lot. You have our knowledge base right here. There's a lot of documentation. And also, if you want to learn more advanced strategies with option, you also have a lot of different documents right here. So there's a lot here. And basically the next is obviously the Academy. We also have created videos for almost every product that we have and almost every levels. So make sure you start from the beginner's course. So if you want to learn how to use MentorQ, then obviously you have our gamma levels course, our blind spots levels, our swing levels. Those are going to be very important if you are starting trading using these levels. You also have our trading integration. So we're going to go over NinjaTrader today. But here, for example, for those who are using all the different platforms, we have videos on all the platforms. So if you're using Bookmap or Quant Tower or ATAS, or if you want to learn about levels conversion, 1 second. If you want to learn about levels conversion, we also have the videos here, but we're going to go through it today. No problem. All right. That said, basically, you can access the data on MentorQ in 2 ways, and we're going to show you both ways. One is through the dashboard. All the data is available here. So if you click on data, you will access the dashboard. Your dashboard might not look like mine because you probably still maybe haven't configured it yet, but you might see SPX, QQQ, and VIX right here. I have basically created my watch list, and I also customize kind of like the screens right here. So what models I see. I have my liquidity snapshot. I want to know if we are in positive or negative gamma throughout the day. I want to see my net gamma exposure chart. I want to see my key levels. And then obviously I have all the other models. So our option matrix, our swing model, our skew chart, and then I have my levels right here. So once I set this up once, I can make it work for every ticker that I use. So in this case, if I click on NVIDIA, I have the same models right there. But also if I click on Netflix or other companies in my watch list, I also have them right here. To add a company to a watch list, you can simply come into the search bar right here, click on a stock, and then simply click on the heart right here. And then now this is going to add it right there. If you want to remove a company, so let's say I don't want to see Costco anymore in my watch list, I simply come here and click on the art again. And now the ticker is removed from my watch list. Okay. You can also go back in time. So you can actually go back, I think, up to 3 to 6 months. So let's say that you wanted to learn about the levels and you wanted to look at past levels. You could, for example, open SPX and wanted to see how the price reacted around the latest FOMC, you can also do that. You can simply come here and just simply go back in time to the date that you want to see. And all this dashboard will change based on that date, like it's doing right now. It's supposed to be doing right now. Okay, interesting. Right, no problem. We'll fix that. Then you have access to our bot. So that allows you to request the data, and you can also access our intraday levels in the bot right there. So if I go under the ask, and we're going to go into the bot on the website, you get to a section right here, and here is also how you're going to be able to customize your dashboard. So let's say I want to type in a ticker and I want to say QQQ for today, and I can go on the intraday levels, so intraday commands, and the end of day commands. So the end of day commands would be all of these. So let's say that you don't have your TradingView levels on your dashboard, or your option matrix on your dashboard, or any of these other tools. You can simply click on it, open it up, and just click on add to dashboard, and that will pop it up on your dashboard right here. So every time you open it up, it will be there. Similar to that, I can ask, all the different models that we have. I want to open my liquidity snapshot on QQQ, or I would like to look at a company. I want to look at Apple, and I basically want to open the key levels for Apple. So this is going to allow you to basically see the data. If you have the component in the dashboard and you want to remove it because you don't like it or you don't want to see it, you can click on remove, and that's going to be taken away from the dashboard. All right. Then we can look at our intraday data. So if you click on SPX, for example, in this case, and then we look at our intraday commands, this will also allow you to go back in time. So here we have our 12:45 snapshot, but I can also go back to my previous snapshot, 11:45, and I can also go back to my 10:45, and I can also go back to my opening snapshot. Donald, no, futures, no, it's not available intraday. That's why the conversion and the ratio will be very important, because that's how you're gonna plot basically stocks or ETFs levels onto the future. So if you are trading ES, you can use SPX or SPY. If you are trading QQQ, you can use NQ, you can use QQQ or NDX. If you're trading gold, you can use GLD. And if you're trading crude oil, you can use USO. So you can get a lot of these data directly into the chart simply by using the conversion. Then we have our TradingView levels right here. So these are the intraday levels. So now what we're gonna look for is how to add the level to the chart, right? So what we do is we go to TradingView, and the first step, actually, let's go back to our dashboard right there. So back to my account. All the indicators are going to be available to you under the integration section. So if you click on integration, you will see the TradingView levels. You click on the indicator, add to your favorite, and that's going to be saved under your account. For NinjaTrader, we're going to go into later. You have Quant Tower, you have the indicator, you have the API key, and then you have all the other indicators here. All right. Once you have the TradingView indicator, it will be saved under your favorite. So you will see it right here. This is the premium Q levels. TradingView does not yet have the levels automatically updated, but we are working on a solution. We are aiming to deliver that by the beginning of February. So we're testing this right now. But basically, right now, what you will need to do on TradingView is come into the dashboard and upload the levels right there, and then bring them into the indicator. Right. So this is allowing me to then plot the SPX levels on to the chart right there. So I'm using the intraday levels, right? So we're also going to go into how to use the bot. We got a lot of questions on how to use the bot and how to get the levels through the bot. So that's very, very nice. And we're going to show you that as well. So if you go on Discord and you have access to our quant data section right here, first, we're going to look at how to use the bot. Then we're going to show you some best practices if you are trading futures on how to use the active futures section, especially if you're not trading the index future, but if you're trading commodities. We can also look at blind spots, and then we can go into more details there. So let's go on the query bot first. So in order to activate the bot, you need to type in /, and then here you get a series of available commands that are available to you. So those commands would be exactly the same that you see right here. So if you are looking for intraday summary, you can get that. If you're looking for TradingView levels, you can get that. So there's about 55 or 60 commands. So obviously you don't have to remember everything, but you can just type in keywords. So first, I can type in help, and I can get the full list of codes available via the bot. So you have 3 pages of that, and you could save it in a in a Google Doc, and you could look at the ones that you use the most, and you could prepare your kind of like document for the day. But basically, again, /, so always to activate the bot, / command, very important. If you simply type help, like I see here in the chat, nothing will happen. So we need to activate the bot, type in the command, press enter, and then that's going to activate the bot. Now, if we want to look at something like JAX, I could type in JAX and I could see a lot of different stuff. You have the description right here. You have the command name. And then, of course, once you start using it, you'll remember which one you need. And then that's going to be very easy. So let's say I want to use the net JAX chart. I can click on the first one here. You will see a ticker section appear. So now I can start typing in my ticker. So I can type in Apple, for example. And then that's going to pop up the chart, which is exactly the same chart that you would see if I was to type in here Apple. And then I would go under my end of day commands and I would type in net JAX. So this would be the same chart that you see here, but it would also be the same chart that you would see within the dashboard if I go on Apple, and I would see the same chart right here, right? Okay. With this, you can also go back in time. So you can go within the bot, you can go back in time up to 5 days. In the dashboard, you can go back in time up to 3 to 6 months, but that allows you to go back in time as well. So then let's say that we want to look at the levels, right? So if you start typing levels, we have 2 types of commands within the bot. We have the single ticker commands, which is, for example, in this case, levels TV or BL levels or swing levels. And then we have the list command, which is TV list, BL list, and swing list. For example, it will be somewhere here, swing list. We also have intraday commands. So we have our list command intraday and our list command and our levels TV intraday. So if you're looking for end of day command, you would use this one. This one will allow me to just get 1 ticker, right? A lot of the question is I'm trying to use levels TV and I type in a list and it doesn't work, right? Yes, data not available because this is a single ticker command. But if you start using our list commands, then you'll be able to type in up to 5 tickers per request. So I could type in ES1, I could type in NQ1, and I could type in NVIDIA and PIX. All right. So right here, as you can see, I get a timestamp. Those are the end of day levels. And I also get the list of the levels. And I can also go back in time right here. So I can go back to yesterday if I want to replay the levels. So very easy. So now you can now upload 5 tickers in one single request. I can go back to my TradingView, copy the ticker here, update it, and now we have our SPX levels, we have our ES levels, and we have all the other tickers that are available that I requested before, right? You can also do that again. So let's say that you want another list. You can go back here. Let's say CRM, RTY, QQQ, IWM, right? Yeah. So now we have our levels, copy them, paste them here, and then hit OK. We can do the same thing on blind spots. So if you type blind spots, you have blind spots levels and blind spot list. Blind spots levels will give you one ticker, and blind spot list will give you a set of tickers, right? So I can also copy this and then bring them back into my TradingView. If you are trying to upload for the same ticker multiple levels type, it won't work. So you would need to add a second indicator. So one of the common questions that we get is, I have ES and my blind spot don't show up. Most likely is because you are using the same indicator and you are using, you're uploading ES gamma levels and ES blind spots. So in that case, that won't work. By doing that, you have now two indicators. I have my blind spots here, and I have my gamma levels there. So you can always go back and forth from one to the other one. Third one, swing levels. So if you type in swing, you have our swing levels, our swing list. As before, SPX, NVIDIA, and Tesla, right? Okay, my swing levels, go back on my TradingView, and then open up our premium indicator, type in there, and now you also have our swing levels right there. All right. Let's see if we get any questions. So Patrick, so ES1 is the generic, Patrick Fitzgerald. ES1 is the generic, and ESH is the March contract. Right now on TradingView, those are the same contracts. So ES1 is exactly the same as ESH. So you can use both depending on how you trade and which data you take. Within the dashboard, currently the generic is not available, but will be released very soon. So if you look at ES within the dashboard, then you would need to use the ESH ticker, and you can open it up right there. All right. Then another common question that we get is, I'm using gold and I cannot find the levels. I'm trading GC1, which is the generic ticker, and I cannot get. We can look at GC. So GC right now, the generic is probably the January contract, and then we have GCG and GCJ. So when we look at levels and we look at options, we need to understand the different types of futures. So when we look at commodities, we have gold and crude oil. Those are physical delivery futures. So if you are holding the futures until expiration, you will receive 1,000 barrels of oil, or I don't know how many ounces of gold, depending on the futures contract. So because of the physical delivery, most of the times investors are not actually buying options, at the first contract. So they would not hedge themselves on the January contract because there's two risks. There is the delivery and there's the liquidity. So what happens if they cannot close their option contracts before the delivery appears? They would be liable to then have an exposure to one future contract, and therefore they could potentially have the risk of having to take physical delivery. So therefore, what we see mostly often is that for monthly futures like gold, crude oil, the soft commodities one, the hedging activity happens in the further months. So happens maybe in the February contract or in the March contract and so on. So that's why if you go in the bot under quant data, click on active futures, and every day we would post this every morning, and we will show you basically for every type of futures contract that we cover, which one is the one that has levels and which one is the one that has the highest open interest and volume. So for example, if you were to trade corn and you're trading ZC, you would want to use the levels on ZCH 2025. 47% of open interest, 61% of volume. If you're trading, for example, gold, you could use GCG, but we are starting to see obviously an increase in open interest and volume on the April contract or March contract, right? So in order for you to be able to use levels on gold or crude oil, you would need to actually come here and request the actual ticker. So you would need to go in the bot and just type in right. So those would be the futures levels, and then I can go here and I can type them here. The question is, okay, but I don't trade that contract. I trade the generic contract. So that's when we are going to go into the conversion, right? So let's start with the levels conversion. So within the indicator here, you have different settings. So the first section is the inputs. Then we have the offset, so you can move the levels a certain amount right here. Let's go here. You want to mute, Patrick? Thank you.
I'm here, yeah.
Yeah, do you want to maybe mute? I don't know, I think I hear some noise.
Oh.
All right. Okay, so now we have our ES levels, and then we can go. So first, we can add a table. So if you want to add a table here, we can get the table. And the table, what the table does is basically giving you a numerical values of all the levels with the distance to the spot price. Then you can sort the table alphabetically, or you can sort the table based on the numbers, so ascending and descending. That's going to allow you to see, okay, like if I'm trading and I like to trade the put support, I can see how far we are from the put support, or maybe I can see how far we are for the 1-day minimum. And then you can increase the size, or you can take it away if you don't want to see it. All right, then let's go first into the labels. So you can basically remove any of these levels, so simply by unticking it. So if I have 10x levels and I want to just take away some of them, I can simply do that. And now I have my 5. You will see some of these disappearing. You see now we don't have our jacks 6 to 10, and that's fine. And maybe I want to also remove maybe jacks 4 and jacks 5 just to show you guys. So now you will see that they disappear right here. Okay. You can also change the color of every line. You can change the format and so on. Now, let's go into the conversion. So what is the levels conversion? So at MentorQ, we provide you access with stocks, ETFs, indices, and futures. So we are using the option chain of the future. We're using the option chain of the ETF, and we're using the option chain of the index. So if you are trading ES, for example, let's take ES as an example, you might want to look at not only the future, but also the ETF. You can see how big the gamma exposure is for the ETF, and you might also want to look at the SPX too. So obviously, SPX has the most volume in terms of option activity, but also SPY has a lot of activity. So looking at the divergence of how things change, you can actually use it for your own trading style. So that said, the intraday levels are not available for futures, so you could actually use the SPX intraday levels or the SPY intraday levels or the QQQ intraday levels and so on. So now let's go into the conversion. So what is the conversion? Right, conversion is simply a mathematical formula that allows you to normalize the level that you see on one asset to the other asset. So as we can see here, SPX is quoting at 5,877. Sorry, SPX. 5,839, and ES is at 5,878. So there's 40 points, give or take, difference. So if I were simply to plot the core resistance of SPX, which is at 5,840, to ES with a manual ratio of 1, that means that the core resistance of SPX would appear on an ES at 5,840. But we are far from that, so that's not the correct way of doing it. Similar to if we look at QQQ, right? How can you plot QQQ levels, which are quoted at 505, to NQ, which is quoted at 20,900, right? So that's when the conversion comes into play. The conversion is simply a very simple formula. The asset that you're trying to convert to divided by the asset that has the level. So you're basically trying to input QQQ levels onto NQ, so you divide NQ by NQ price by the price of QQQ. So in this case, it would be 21,000 divided by 505. Right now, the ratio is about 41.41884, right? So what you can do in TradingView, there's two different ways. So you can convert from one asset to the other one using a manual ratio. That means that I will need to calculate my ratio manually, similar to what I did here. So I could come here and I could say, okay, I want to see the ratio of ES and SPX, and the ratio is around 1.00652. So I could come here and I could say, okay, I want to use a manual because there's a lot of volatility, and I want to make sure that I'm getting the right value, 652. So in that case, by doing that, then I can go back to my ES chart, and now the levels will be converted similarly to what they are on SPX, right? So now you have your one-day max of SPX, one-day minimum, and so on, right? Or you could convert using autoratio. Autoratio is calculating using the end-of-day price at 4 p.m. of the stocks, ETFs, and indices, and at 4:59 p.m. Eastern Time of the future. So by using autoratio, the system automatically calculates the ratio for you, and you can change that, and you will see how that changes, if any. You can also do the same thing on QQQ and NQ, and you can use the autoratio and then click here and then go on the NQ chart, and now the levels will be there. All right. Any questions on the ratio? Is it clear? Does it make sense? Herb, you can convert anything to anything. So the indicator is completely flexible. So let's go back to our example of GC, right? I now use the GCJ 2025, and let's say that I trade GC1. So I could come here and say I imported the level of GCJ, but I want to convert to GC1, right? So the contract that I'm actually spot trading, and I can use an auto ratio. And then now I can go on GC1, and now the levels are there. Very easy. I can also convert, for example, levels from QQQ to NVIDIA, for example, right? Let's say we're trading NVIDIA and we want to automatically populate the QQQ levels. So we can come here and we can now have our QQQ levels on NVIDIA. Yes, and you can also convert from QQQ to NQH 2025. So if you are using the monthly contract, no problem. Just change the ticker. Make sure you go to NQH, and then the ratio will be there. Let me know if it makes sense. So now let's say that we want to get the intraday levels of an asset. So let's say I want to now have the QQQ intraday levels. So let's say I want the intraday levels of QQQ, and I want to now plot them on NQ. So I can come here and I can say, let's open up a new indicator. And let's open up our branch. Right. So now I have on one indicator, I have my QQQ levels, right? So now I have my indicator with my NQ levels, and I can also convert my QQQ end of day levels. So here are my QQQ end of day levels right there. Right. So now I have NQ levels, QQQ levels, and now let's say I want to convert now the intraday QQQ levels on NQ, right? So now I have this, and I have my offset, and now I can right. So now the yellow ones are the intraday levels, the other ones are the end of day levels. So for example, as you can see, the one day mean on QQQ kind of shifted at the open compared to the previous day. And then we also have some changes into the IVO level. So QQQ kind of shifted down at the open, and kind of like we have similar, the IVO level, for example, shifted down as well. So it's both the 0DTE and the IVO level were down, and the one day max kind of is a little bit further. So we've seen an increase in volatility also by looking at the change in these levels. So you can have the end of day, the intraday, the end of day, and basically have them right there. Very, very easy. Okay. Let me know if this is clear, and then we can go into the integration of especially NinjaTrader. I don't know, Patrick, if you want to add something or.
I think everything is clear. So we was covering this very well. So I think the most important thing is that you can convert everything from everything. Yeah, as Fabio was showing. And if you convert this on your end with the conversion, so you can calculate this anytime. But I would say be careful. There will never be the perfect ratio. Yeah. So the price, if the price action, the ratio will change. If you be in high, I don't know, if you be not trading on many trades and on a, I don't know, on 30-second time frame, then it makes only sense to change your ratio once a time.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, and also like now we're gonna go into NinjaTrader, but it's if you learn how to set up the ratio like I did, then you can kind of save your ratio right here, and you can always access them in real time. So this will update in real time. And if you are not familiar on how to do that, you can simply click on the plus symbol and then start typing the ticker that you want to convert. So I want to have the ratio between NQ1 and NDX. And then now this will basically, well, I already have it right here, but if I didn't have it, I could actually, let's say I want NQ1 divided by NVIDIA, right? I could have my NQ1 NVIDIA ratio, and I could use this to convert potentially the levels from NVIDIA to NQ using a 159, give or take ratio, 159.06. So it's very, very easy to do. It's very simple. Once you save them, then that's going to allow you to have them access at any time. That's going to be very important if you don't have a data feed on Ninja, on Sierra, or on the other platform that will allow you to do the automatic conversion. So in order to do the automatic conversion on any of the platform, you would need to have access to the pricing data of the asset that you're trying to convert. Yeah, there's a question for you, maybe, Patrick.
Patrick, do you use these ratios when you trade? Most of the time, I'm using really auto ratio because this helps me most. So as I said, we need only once a time some update from the ratio. So especially for me, and for me, I'm using the auto ratio, and that's enough. I change only the ratio when we have really crazy events. For example, if we're getting tomorrow CPI and we're getting a strong CPI candle, maybe to the upside, maybe to the downside, and it takes out, I don't know, on the NASDAQ, 500 points. So of course, then I will change my ratio again because it's big difference now in the ratios. Yeah. But that's the only events where I would change my ratios.
Yeah. All right. So now let's go over the NinjaTrader, and all the other integration would work in a similar fashion. They're all available via API. So actually, it's going to be much easier to add the levels because they will automatically update. So the first step is to go into your dashboard, go into the integration section, and then look for NinjaTrader. And then here you have the first version of the indicator. This only works with file, so which is here, the key levels files. You want to download the V6 version. And then also, if it's the first time, you also want to send us your machine ID, and basically just send it here, and we will enable it within 24 hours. That's going to allow you to use the indicator on NinjaTrader. And then, of course, you will have to download the temporary API key that you find right here. And that works exactly the same with all the other indicators. So you have the indicator, the API key, and that's it. Very simple. So once you have the indicator downloaded into your computer, to set up NinjaTrader is very, very simple. Go on Tools, import NinjaScript add-on, and then upload the zip file that you downloaded, and it's going to take less than 30 seconds to set it up. So that's going to basically confirm the indicator is set up, and then you're good to go. So then we go into our chart. So let's open up my ES chart, for example. Then once you install it, the indicator will be here. So you will find it under Mentor Q levels right here. Just double click it. And that's going to open up the indicator with the settings. Again, you can add more than one indicator. So you could have multiple indicators for if you wanted to have more levels, just one level on one and one level on the other one. So you could do that. And here you have, let's go through the settings. So you have the input option. You can upload levels via API or via file. So I'm going to use the API today. You can also choose the manual or auto update of the API. And why would you do that? So we get a lot of questions about, I want to play my levels at the end of the day. So I want to set up my chart at the beginning of the day, and I don't want the levels to change because I want to go back in time and I want to see basically the things that I've done good, the things that I've done wrong, and I want to study. Maybe over the weekend, you want to study that. So you could use a manual update. That means that you would have to refresh the chart in order to the levels to update. So if you don't do that, then the levels that you downloaded at the beginning of the day will stay there for the whole day until you refresh the chart. Then you can tell the API how many times, when to search for new levels and how many minutes. I would suggest not to go below 60 or 30 because that's going to have an impact on your API. So you might hit your limits, and then that's going to might block you for the day. So just leave it as it is, or if you want, you can also manually update whenever you need. Then here I would type my API key. And if you are using the text, the file, this is where you would add the file. So you can only use one option at a time. So you can use either API or either the file. If I then click on apply, you will see here that my level appears. So very, very easy. I have my blind spots, I have my jacks level, and so on. So now let's go into the settings. So if you scroll down to the indicator, the first section that we have is our gamma levels. So within the gamma levels, you can choose the backgrounds if you want it transparent, if you want to set the color, opacity, the offset, the line width, and then obviously here, very important, what type of level do you want to see? So here you have two options, our gamma levels and our gamma scalping. The difference is really that gamma scalping will give you more jacks levels within a smaller range. And the reason why we developed this is because we have a lot of futures traders that are really scalping a few points of the NQ or the ES. So they wanted more like levels within a smaller range so that they could have tighter support and resistance areas coming from the option market. But if that's not the case, you can use our gamma levels. Those are the ones that you would see on TradingView. So I can choose that, and then I can show the price. The price will appear right here. And then I can choose which levels I want to show. So I can show all the levels, I can show none of the levels, or I can show selected levels. So when I choose selected levels, that means that I can scroll all the way down here and I can tell which levels I want to plot. So similar to what we did on TradingView, I can say, like, for example, that I don't want my Jack 7 and I don't want my Jack 8 and I don't want my Jacks 9 and I don't want my Jacks 10. So by doing that, I untick the levels. Those will disappear from the chart. Make sure if you do that the option selected right here is not set to all. Otherwise, you will see all levels and then you need to change it back to selected, right? The next section, and please, guys, let me know if you have questions. The next section is blind spots, similar to what we had before. We have the background here. We have our offset, line width, show the price, again, right here, very simple. And then also here, selected, none, and hold. So let's say I don't use blind spots. I want to just make them disappear from the chart. I just select none, and then my blind spots are not there. Then we have our custom levels, and here we have our string levels. So I can choose all the levels that are available if we have more, but right now we only have string levels. So I can choose my string levels and I can say show all or show none, and those will appear. I'm using the yes chart, so the string levels are not going to appear. I will need to convert SPX to yes in order for them to show. And then if we scroll down, we also have our converted levels, and we can choose the background and the color, right? Within NinjaTrader, you also have the capability of setting up alerts. So if I want to set up alerts, I can click on the type of delivery that I want. I want an alert in my window. I want an email. You need to configure that within the NinjaTrader platform, or I want to receive sound and play the sound whenever it hits. If you select the alerts, then you also have to give the system which level you want to be alerted on. So if I want to be alerted on, for example, core resistance and put support, I would need to tick the box right here, click on apply, and then whenever my asset would reach that that level, it would basically give me the alert based on the delivery that you set right here. Okay. Let's see if we have any questions. Yeah. All right. So if we scroll down, then also we have more settings. So you can define the color of each of the lines right here. So you can just simply scroll down. You also have our blind spots. So you can also select your blind spots. And then basically we get to our conversion. So now the conversion allows me to basically convert one of the levels or more of the levels into the asset that I want to convert from. So let's say I want to convert SPX to yes. I now have the option to do auto ratio or manual ratio. If you have a feed, which is not my case, you can use auto ratio, and the system will automatically convert using the end of day price of the two assets. I do not have the data feed, so I cannot convert, so no price data available for SPX, but I can simply come here and say, I want my manual ratio, and my manual ratio, going back to the previous slide, was 1.00652. I convert that, and now I can see my gamma levels. I can see my string levels on SPX all the way to the left, right? Now, let's say we want to convert intraday gamma levels of SPX to yes. How do we do that? Simply by changing our gamma levels right here to gamma levels intraday, hit on apply, and this will basically convert our SPX gamma levels intraday into yes. We have them here. And the reason why you don't see any levels here is because we don't have intraday levels for future. So the intraday levels for the future have now disappeared, but we now have the intraday levels for SPX, right? So very, very simple. You also see the string levels. So you see, for example, the risk trigger here, and then you see other string levels. So if I want them to disappear, I can also come back here and I can say show none, and now they will disappear. Right. So now my chart only has intraday string gamma levels from SPX on my yes chart, right?
And let me add something about the conversation and how you can convert something. Fabio, I think it's really important for the people to understand the leverage from the products.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think like you can convert easily, for example, NQ to VIX or VIX levels to NQ, this doesn't work because there's much more behind.
Yeah.
And also, if you're using like NQ and you want to convert this to N stock, who's maybe under 10 US dollar, this could be a little bit tricky because the leverage is quietly too big. for the conversation. And this is something what you should be also have in the mind. If you convert like NQ to a really tiny small stock or little tiny small ETF or VIX, this can give you a little bit trouble.
Yeah. And I think another advantage of this indicator versus the TradingView one is that everything is available via API. So let's make another example. So let's say we want to convert NVIDIA to NQ, right? I don't have prices on NVIDIA, so I would need to use the manual ratio. If I look at my manual ratio right now is 158.75, right? So I went from my TradingView, I look at the ratio, and I hit on apply. So now we can go into NQ, and we should be able to see our NVIDIA levels right there. So now I'm using NVIDIA intraday gamma levels converted on NQ in like 3 simple steps. And then let's say I then want to convert and I just want to have gamma levels. I could have the NVIDIA levels as well as the NQ gamma levels on the right-hand side. Which I think is very, very powerful. Right, let's see if we get more questions. And let me know, maybe Lionel, I know you wanted to see the indicator. Let me know if it makes sense, if you have more questions about it. Yeah, let me know. From a product update standpoint, we're also going to release the conversion to ATAS and Quant-Hour very soon, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So the same functionality will also be available on both platforms as well. So yeah, so you have conversion on Sierra, conversion on Ninja, and then ATAS and Quant-Hour.
And maybe we have some TickPlace members here, Fabio. Any updates about TickPlace?
Yeah, we're working on an active integration. We're planning to release it in the next month and a half or so. So we are doing another product release in February. So we are probably going to release it hopefully in that day, if not soon after. Lionel, what don't you have loaded? Let me know. So that means you're not using the right API key. If you have error 403, that means yeah, you are, or you don't use VPN, do you, Lionel? Okay, so that means that you need to go back to the dashboard and make sure you get the correct API key. So you can use TradingView. I don't know if you missed the first part, but basically to get, so the question is, where can I get the stock and futures prices to do the manual conversion if I only have futures data? You can do that on TradingView, or you could do that simply by looking at, for example, the Yahoo Finance last price of the stock and the index. Very simple. It's a simple calculation. One asset divided by the other one. And if you go within our academy, so let's go back, let's minimize this. And let's go back here. If you go back to our academy and then go under integrations and click on trading integrations, we have videos specifically for level conversion right there. I'll just paste the link here. All right. We have a few minutes left. Let us know if you guys have more questions. We covered a lot today, but I think it was good. So Lionel, the API key would be here. Would be right here. There's the settings right there. All right. Any more question, guys? Let's stop the recording.